it's a long 24 hours, that's for sure. But obviously, I told the boys this. I think beating anybody 3 times is tough, especially when you're trying to do it within 24 hours. And that is a veteran lineup. And man, they gave us some fits. They just wouldn't go away. And that's a credit to their staff and that team. I mean, they've been around the block. That's a good team. And I know their record doesn't reflect it yet, but those guys are going to give guys fits. I thought for us today, I thought we did enough to win. It was obviously good to get Banksy back out there, and see him throw a clean inning. That's going to be big for us moving forward. Our energy wasn't awesome today, and we talked about that afterwards. We always talk about kind of comparing ourselves against the best version of who we can be, and we did enough today, which is great. But I think it's a really good test run for us because we're going to be in this situation at some point in SEC play this year, and it's just the nature of college baseball. You get a rain out, you get weather, and you have to play a doubleheader and bounce back the next day. So I think it was a good walkthrough for us for that, and I know this group. This is a good group of kids that work hard, and we'll show up and be a better version of that the next time the opportunity presents itself. So it's a heck of a ability to learn from a win. Sometimes you end up on the other side of that. And like I said, you don't ever take these things for granted. Winning college baseball games is hard, and these boys found a way to do it on very short rest and a quick turnaround. So proud of those boys today. Even though I don't think we were quite the best version of ourselves, we did enough today.
Ian, Evan, you guys can answer this. 3 games in a span of 26 hours. What does that kind of do from a player's perspective, this whole it kind of takes on y'all?
Honestly, me and Ev kind of talked about it last night. You get home and you're sitting on the couch and you're like, well, it's time for bed. Let's go to bed and wake up early. And we weren't sure what the morning was going to look like. Coming in here this morning, we took batting practice inside. And honestly, the focus, it's kind of that's the most important part of it, is just being able to stay focused, because it is a shorter time span, and just being able to do what you have to do to get ready to play. We finished 9 innings yesterday, and we're in 40 minutes we're back out playing 9 innings. So do whatever you have to do to stay ready. And everybody's different. There's some guys who might go take a nap. Some guys have to stay moving, and I'm personally like that. I just needed to keep moving yesterday, or else I'm gonna kind of wind down. So just kind of knowing yourself and your teammates too, and kind of holding each other accountable just for doing the right thing, going to bed when you need to go to bed, and waking up and getting moving just to get ready for early BP is important.
Yeah, they always say in baseball, I can't remember if it's from a movie or not, but sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes it rains. So, playing baseball, you get used to being flexible, and I think it's good for us as a team, like Coach said, to deal with some of the circumstances, play in a little bit of a different situation. I think this team did a good job of just, rolling with the punches and just being ready to play at all times of the day. So I think it was good for us.
I mean, Ian, you had a fantastic day today. 3 hits from 4 plate appearances, also got on base with a hit by pitch. What was kind of working for you? What were you kind of looking for at the plate today?
So kind of just, that was one of the good things of playing a doubleheader yesterday. There was no time for them to kind of adjust and make a game plan. And as a hitter, I kind of got to see at bat to at bat what they were trying to do, and kind of was looking at TJ's and bats in front of me and being like, okay, this is how they're going to attack us, using the live pitch chart that Max Grant does an unbelievable job of keeping, and helping us hitters that are in the lineup deal with. And we kind of saw in certain counts to lefties, they were throwing the same pitch every single time. And by the start of today, after our first at bat, we kind of just knew pitch to pitch, what was coming, and the ability just for guys to keep making adjustments, hunting elevation. We knew the first guy, he was going to have a little bit to his fastball, so really hunting above it, and I was able to set my sights up at the top of the zone. And that first at bat, he threw me 2 that I kind of chased up. Wasn't the best swing, but because I was looking there and he came there again, I was able to get on top of it. So just kind of adjusting pitch to pitch and communicating with the guys has been really good. We're starting to come together fully as a team, and we're giving each other the right information, which at first, in the beginning of the year, it's crazy because you look up against the Manhattan series, and I don't know how many runs we scored, but we scored a lot of runs, and we weren't even communicating the best. And now you look up, and the difference and the adjustability that we've made as a whole team has been outstanding. Guys are giving way better information now, and we're learning each other and kind of what each person needs to hear as an individual, and kind of giving each other the right information. So it's been good.
Evan, you and him both had 3 ribbies. Has there been any adjustment for you over, I know it's a very brief period as we've touched on, but over the last couple of games being in that cleanup spot and coming in straight behind him?
I wouldn't say there's been any adjustment. I just try to get up and take each situation as it is, one pitch at a time. And, each situation is different and try to digest it before I get up to the plate and really try to do what I can for the team. Just do a job is what I try to do every at-bat. And at the very least, if I can do that, then I can help out the team.
Coach, you got a veteran outfield, obviously, on both sides of the ball, but this outfield's been really good offensively. What have you seen on that end that's made them be this effective at the plate?
I think the thing I love about it is I feel like it's a different one every time. Like TJ's, there's no secret. TJ's been a superstar for the first 3 weeks. TJ was, I say he had a down weekend. Dude had 2 hits today, but wasn't like your gaudy TJ this weekend. But he was this weekend. Ev's been about as consistent no matter where I hit him in the lineup. You just know you're going to get a quality back because he keeps it simple. Like exactly what he said. I mean, it's what is my job in this given moment. I think that every hitter has to know that. I say that all the time. If you don't know what your job is, it's really hard to run it off. And so understand, like, is it a runner at third and less than 2 outs? Is the infield enter their backs? Is there a runner at second? Is there nobody on? Like, what is it? And he's done a great job. I think that's one thing I love about it is those are 3 kids that have had a ton of college at bats, and that's exactly what we expect these guys to be able to do. Because, man, when we're firing and we're rolling 9 deep, or even in the outfield 3 deep, and those guys are all firing at the same time, that's fun. That's easy. The game ain't too hard when that happens. But I think the thing I love about it is it's kind of been a different guy, and I think that's a story of our lineup. Is it's been a different guy every day, and I think the best teams I've ever coached is that's how it's run off. In 2022 at Maryland, we had a special group of kids, and man, it seemed like every game it was somebody else being the hero. And that's when it's fun, man. That's when college baseball gets to be a lot of fun.
Anything else?
And you've talked about communication. What role has those improvements played in your position group specifically?
I mean, having Evan behind me too, I think me and him communicate really well, specifically me and him. And then like TJ, having TJ in front of me, he's able to engage. They both see the ball unbelievably well. And that kind of helps me being in the 3-hole. I'm able to just talk to them. Like if Gage hits a leadoff jack, he can come in the dugout and tell me what he just saw, and the chances of that happening are pretty likely, as it seems. So the information just amongst the guys has just gotten consistently better, like I said. And personally, like they're starting to understand. Like in the beginning of the year, I was talking about some stuff like certain shapes of like what pitches look like and the way the ball's spinning. At first, some guys didn't really understand like what exactly I was asking for. And as the season has gone on, guys are able to give me better information because now they've realized like the specific things that I was talking about. And people are picking up on that, which is good because it's just the more information we have, the better.
For both players, next time you're out here, it's going to be a marquee matchup in SEC play. What are you guys anticipating?
We really just focus on playing our best version of baseball. There's a lot of good teams in college baseball, and we know the SEC is obviously different. We're going to take it one pitch at a time and try to execute at the highest level possible, and we're going to take it from there.
Yeah, same thing as I've said. Like the last time I was in here, I talked a little bit about how I've been talking with some of the guys about like stillness, just pitch to pitch, like the same thing over and over again. It's just practice for the next appearance, and that's all it is. And I think that if we can just continue to play a faceless opponent, try to get better individually and as a unit every single pitch and every single game, I think we're going to be just fine because this team is so special and the talent we have is off the charts. So I think that if we just keep playing ourselves and just looking at every opponent as faceless, it's just going to be so much fun to roll into the end of the season with these guys.
Coach, 5 guys out of the bullpen today. How big is it to get guys' appearances in non-conference games to know what's looming next week?
Yeah, I think, for one, we're still learning these guys a little bit, seeing who can bounce back, the next day. And Colson Buchanan's a perfect example of that. Colson wasn't great yesterday, and he'd be the first one to tell you. And, I checked with him before the game, and he's like, man, I feel awesome. I feel better than I did yesterday. And I thought one of the biggest points of that game, we have second, third, 1 out, and they're right in the middle of their order. And we all know how offensive that group's been this weekend and how dangerous they are. And he's able to escape that with no run scored. And you're learning guys that can bounce back, guys that maybe we got to lengthen them a little bit because they're not as great multiple times in the weekend. And so that's what we're trying to see. I thought, Pierce George didn't have the clean outing, but he was able to come out. I don't think he gave up he walked one guy and got himself out of some tight spots, and that's huge for him, huge for his growth, because that's what we need to see. I mean, that's 100 with a slammer, and the more he keeps doing that, the more confidence he's going to have, the more we're going to keep thrusting him into tighter and tighter situations. So, I thought as a staff this weekend, we weren't as dominant, and I think that's okay. Like, I actually think that's a good thing because they had to kind of compete through some things. Like, we didn't have maybe our best stuff at times. It wasn't clean for them. But that's how you grow. You don't grow through pretty all the time. You grow through kind of the challenges and the ups and the downs. And like I said, the fact that we're able to go out and win 3 games against a quality team, having some inconsistencies kind of on both sides of the ball, some defensive stuff we could do better is huge. And it's a testament to the grit these guys have. That's what it's really all about.
Coach, you guys traveled to Southern Miss to play on Tuesday, last non-conference game of the regular season. After a wild week like this one with 2 rain delays, getting pushed a doubleheader on Saturday, how do you kind of prepare for another fairly short, preparation, especially when you have to travel?
And that environment in Hattiesburg's fun. Like, this will be my first time going down there, but I've seen it. So I don't think we're going to have an issue from an energy perspective. But I did tell our guys, I said, I thought today you saw some big swings out of some tired bodies today, leaving the zone a tick more at times, and that's normal, and I think that's something we got to learn. But I told them, I said, man, we just got to go to bed tonight, like hydrate tonight, go to bed tonight, because how we feel on Tuesday at 6 p.m. is going to be a direct reflection of how we prepare ourselves tonight, So I think sometimes the best thing you can do is, man, go kick your feet up, go watch some college baseball or whatever's on TV this afternoon, chug water, handle that, and get yourself ready, because we're going to leave at 1 o'clock tomorrow and get ready, bust down. We'll practice there tomorrow night and get a good night's rest. And, man, it's going to be a fun game on Tuesday. I think that's the beauty, and that's one thing I've enjoyed being down here is, man, these midweek games are fun, and you're going to a great environment and a perennial postseason team. From Scott Berry to Coach Oz and what they do down there now, that group is always competitive. They're always tough, and we're going to go to their park to do it. So it's going to be an electric atmosphere, and we'll prepare and get our rest tonight and be ready to rock on Tuesday at 6.